At this point, is anyone even surprised that the malnourishment, scars, and bruises were caused by Laplace's father? A loving father is a once-in-a-generation type event in NIKKE's universe. But despite all the pain that Laplace went through, her dream of becoming a hero kept her going. The same movie about Ultra Hero that inspired Syuen also inspired Laplace, and it was fate that Laplace ended up at the Bacillus HQ. She was destined to not only become a hero of the arc, but also Syuen's hero. Out of so many candidates with much healthier bodies, Laplace was the only one to survive Project Matisse and become a hero Nikke. Heroes endure, heroes inspire, heroes break windows. And in the final moments of the story, when Syuen feels that she's lost everything, Laplace is there with the promise to forever be her hero. Which is a beautiful promise, but it's a shame because Syuen is evil. So let's talk about it. Now, before anyone goes pointing fingers at Jien, let's start with her role in this story. Jien set things in motion by making Syuen aware of the board's intent and their role in trying to bring down Syuen. Syuen knows that both her and her sister can benefit from taking the board down, since they both want to wound their father, in addition to getting revenge on them for going against Syuen. So the two sisters agree to work together. Syuen drugs all of the board members with an extremely volatile drug that can burn a human from the inside out. The same one that the board used to destroy her second wave of prototype Nikkes. And not only that, Syuen makes the board aware of this and uses it as a way to keep them in line through fear of death. Unfortunately, one of the board members does end up burning up and dying in their home, and Syuen says that it was Jien's doing. To me, this is the first point where I could say, okay, Jien did something bad here by killing this person. But this isn't a black and white story. The board is filled with people that want to usurp the power that both sisters have, and we know that they are directly responsible for the deaths of 8 candidates on top of the attempted murder of Maxwell, which I admit could have been incidental due to them destroying the lab to hide the evidence, but you can't blow up a building and claim innocence if someone happens to die, even if that wasn't the intent. I also still believe that everything Jien has done in this story has been with the intent of protecting her sister, no matter how messed up it may seem. So Jien killed a board member that killed 8 innocents, involuntarily almost killed another, and attempted to destroy Syuen's life's work. I can't say that I'm wholly against Jien here. I feel that she was rather justified in her killing of this board member, despite it being morally ambiguous. So now let's talk about her involvement in Maxwell's death. It's obvious that Jien set up the bomb that would be used to kill Maxwell, but we have to look at what part Syuen played here. Jien told her sister that everything was in place and she had to choose whether to let Maxwell go or to keep her around forever as a Nikke. It is unclear what Jien meant when she said, "let her go." I've considered both possibilities, that it meant let her die or let her retire. In the past, Jien made the decision to convert Lala into a Nikke. It was her decision alone, and Syuen was upset with it. Now this time, Jien is leaving the decision up to Syuen. But did Jien make the decision to kill Maxwell independently of Syuen's decision to convert her? So let's consider if Jien even has motive to kill Maxwell. Jien knows that Maxwell can connect both her and Syuen to the death of the board member, but I think this is a really weak reason to kill her. How would Maxwell even prove it? And even if she could, then who would do anything against 2 of the most powerful and influential people in the arc? Killing Maxwell for this reason would imply that Jien fears Maxwell, which I believe she has no reason to. So the only other reason I can think of is because Jien believes that Syuen cannot live without Maxwell in her life, which means that she would need to be converted into a Nikke. Now we get back to the decision that Syuen potentially made. If Syuen chose to let Maxwell go, then what reason could Jien possibly have for killing her? The only thing I can think of is that Jien knows that Syuen doesn't have it in her to kill Maxwell and go through with the NIKKE conversion unless she feels like she's being heroic, that she's saving Maxwell from a horrible death. Either way, how the conversation ends between Jien and Syuen is left deliberately ambiguous, and I think that the only conclusion that we can clearly make about Jien is that whatever she does that involves Syuen is meant to protect her or show love towards her. And it's obvious that what Jien considers love is a far cry from what most other people view it as. Syuen's intent is made clear as day at the end of the story. Maxwell wants to die in peace, but Syuen won't let her. She will make Maxwell into a NIKKE no matter what. At some point in their lives, both of them have equated being made into a NIKKE as being killed. Maxwell literally says that Syuen is killing her by making this decision, much like Syuen said to the commander that he would be killing her by letting NIKKE turn her into a NIKKE. And Maxwell, with her dying breath, makes sure that Syuen knows what kind of monster she really is. And NIKKE Maxwell will be a constant reminder of the atrocity that Syuen committed against her. Syuen had a terrible childhood with an unloving father that was hell-bent on turning her into a cold and ruthlessly efficient CEO. But no matter her upbringing, it doesn't excuse her response to it. The duality of two daughters with abusive fathers is right there in the story. Laplace is overwhelmed by evil every single day, and it drives her to become a hero that can save others from the same terrible fate. Syuen faces the same kind of evil her entire childhood, and instead of working against it, she allows herself to be corrupted by it. She kills the one person that stood by her side her entire life, that encouraged her and motivated her. The irony in all of this is that the true villain of the story creates the group of hero NIKKEs. This was never a story meant to help us sympathize with Syuen. It was always about showing the source of corruption and how deep it ran. Hansen was able to rise above his father's corruption, but Syuen was not able to do the same with Enmei. She succumbed to it.
Do you regret meeting me?
Yes, Syuen, she absolutely regrets meeting you. So there it is, the conclusion of Project Matisse, for now. I thought that this was a great event story that really dove deep into the origins of one of my favorite squads as far as the main campaign is concerned. Matisse always brings a lighthearted and comedic atmosphere to the scene when they're present, but I never could have imagined the darkness that they were born from. I'm expecting, or at least hoping, that the next event gives us the origins of Drake, because as far as Project Matisse goes, Drake's role was basically, oh, hey, look, we found a third candidate. They're a little weird, a lot like Laplace, and they have an affinity for electricity. I don't even remember Drake being mentioned by name in this event. And the ultimate villain deserves the ultimate backstory with her own event. Anyways, guys, please like and subscribe if you enjoy my content. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!